On Tuesday, March 5th, 2019, at 1000 hours, a child's body was discovered on the equestrian trail east of Hacienda Boulevard and just south of Colima Road. And this is next to the Shilai Buddhist temple. And it's a sad moment for the department, for the community, and we're going to do our best to figure out what led to the suspicious death of the child involved. And I've directed the investigators to spare no effort and find out what happened. And to that regard, let me introduce Captain Ken Wegner from Homicide Bureau.
Scott's going to handle that.
Scott? Okay.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. I'm Lieutenant Scott Hoagland with Sheriff Homicide Bureau. We're here today to discuss the incident. The case yesterday occurred on March 5th, 2019. A child's body was discovered about 10 o'clock, like the sheriff said, on Hacienda Boulevard, just down the embankment just south of Colima Road. The location is just below the Buddhist temple in a equestrian walkway area. Investigators believe that the victim was dumped at the location sometime during the late evening hours of Sunday, March 3rd, and discovered again on March 5th at 10 o'clock in the morning. The victim was discovered by some county workers that were there clearing some brush and doing maintenance on the equestrian trail. The victim was in fact found partially inside of a black rollaway type duffel bag. The upper portion of the victim was protruding from that bag, which is depicted over here in one of our displays. The victim is a female black. Originally, yesterday, we determined that the victim was roughly 7 to 10 years old, but after further investigation with our investigators in the coroner's office, we now believe that our victim may be anywhere between the ages of 8 and 13 years old. She's approximately 4'5" tall, weighs about 55 pounds, and is skinny in nature. Investigators did not observe any obvious signs of trauma to the victim's body. At this time, this incident is being ruled as a suspicious death investigation. And the cause of death will be determined at an autopsy that should be taking place the next day or two. The motive at this time is unknown. The purpose of this conference here today is to reach out to the public, the community, to find out if anybody saw anything suspicious in nature during those time frames on Hacienda Boulevard. There is a turnout on Hacienda Boulevard just south of Colima Road, where we're looking for any type of witnesses that may have been traveling that area, that may have seen a vehicle pulled over to the side, anybody with information regarding our victim, who our sketch artist at Homicide Bureau created a sketch, which is also displayed over here. We are looking for anybody that recognizes this individual, recognizes the suitcase, as well as the clothing that the victim was found in, which is also depicted over here in one of our bulletins. We are asking anyone with any type of information, no matter how small, to contact Sheriff Homicide Bureau with that information. We are looking for any lead. If you wish to remain anonymous, Crime Stoppers is a great option. You can remain anonymous and report what you may know. At this time, I'd like to open to any type of questions regarding this case.
As of yesterday, no one had come forward when you gave the press conference. Has anyone come forward, any witnesses or anyone related to the victim since then? Any possible leads?
At this point, we don't have any leads. We don't have any idea of who this child is. And that's why we're here today, is to find information.
Lieutenant, can you elaborate on the sign? You said there were no obvious signs of trauma. Can you elaborate a little bit more on how you think she may have died, or now did you downgrade this from a homicide to a suspicious death?
It's a suspicious death investigation. Again, there was no obvious signs of trauma that would indicate a homicide or anything evident that the cause was a homicide, that there was some type of blunt force trauma or anything like that. There was no evidence of that. We don't know the cause of death. It is undetermined at this point. And again, we're hoping to find out more at the time of the autopsy.
Did you say that she weighed 55 pounds?
Yes, approximately 4 foot 5 inches tall and weighed about 55
That
pounds.
is extremely thin. Are there signs of neglect or malnutrition?
At this point, no. We're looking for witnesses. We know that the victim was small in nature, and we're hoping that will help the community identify our victim for us.
Lieutenant, have you had a chance to talk to other agencies in and around Southern California for their missing person files to see if anything conceivably fits this person?
Absolutely. Our investigators are in touch with Department of Children's Services and other missing child organizations, as well as school districts, looking for any type of lead. These flyers and information will be given to them to research their database and hope to identify this victim.
No hits yet, though.
As of this time, no, we do not have any information.
Lieutenant, can you talk a little bit more about the bag, and is that the actual bag, and just what its role was at the scene?
Yes, that is a internet version of the bag, similar, if not exact, as to the bag that the victim was located in. But that is a photo taken from an internet page.
Is the bag large enough to accommodate the entire person to the point that it would be completely concealed if she was in it and it was zipped up?
I cannot answer that positively, so I can't say for sure now.
Is there any evidence that the person carrying that bag went to lengths to conceal fingerprints or anything like that that were out what that bag there?
Again, still too early in the investigation. Investigators were at the coroner's office late last night, continuing their investigation. We were preparing for this press conference this morning, so investigators are looking into all possible leads and all possible trace evidence that can help us assist in identifying a suspect and the victim.
Do you have any idea how long the girl has been dead and how long she was there in the trail?
We believe, like I said earlier, that it was within a 48-hour period prior to yesterday morning at 10. So it's just a rough estimate. We believe that possibly anywhere between Sunday afternoon, late Sunday, to the time of discovery, which was Tuesday morning at 10.
Can you talk about just how unusual this case is in LA County and just your gut reaction trying to handle this case?
No, like anyone here, these are the hardest cases to handle, anything involving a child. This is very sad. And like the sheriff said, I mean, he's given us every resource we need to put all the resources out in the field, to find a conclusion to this case, to find the person responsible, find out the reason for this child's death, and to identify the victim. So again, this is still very early on. It's a horrible, tragic case that our investigators are working diligently on to solve.
Last time you heard of a woman found in a luggage or suitcase, just talk to us about how unusual this is.
It is very unusual. We don't see too many cases where somebody's discarded in a suitcase or a luggage item like that. It's just a tragic situation. I mean, it's horrible to see.
Lieutenant,
Can you tell us if she was a victim of rape?
I cannot speak to that right now. I do not have any information if that was a factor or not.
Lieutenant, when you were talking about she being partially found in the bag, does it appear that she tried to get out of the bag herself? Was she face in the bag? Can you describe how she was found partially in the bag?
Her upper torso and head were protruding from the open bag. So, you know, if the individual was inside the bag or fell out, I cannot say for sure.
Was it zipped around the rest of the way?
It was partially zipped.
Was she bound?
No.
She was not bound in any way.
Did the bag appear to be new, or can you tell?
At this point, I can't comment on that.
Do you have you gotten any surveillance video that might be helpful?
There is video in the area. Investigators, again, are working on that angle, hoping to identify some type of suspect or witness regarding this case, but that is all being looked into.
Can we, just to clarify with these questions, do you believe that she was dead when she went into the bag, or do you believe she was still alive in the bag?
No way to determine that.
Yeah, we can't determine that at this point. We do not know.
So you don't know if she died in the bag or if she was dead before she was put in the bag?
Correct. There's no way to determine that.
Was there personal items in the bag that might have belonged to her? Is her bag?
No, we do not have any information on that.
Were there any other items in the bag?
Not that we're going to comment on at this time.
Have you been able
So
to
the
find any
wording just don't
information
want to say.
about why Hacienda Heights, why that horse trail? It is local?
Again, we don't have any information regarding this victim. We need to identify the victim before we can really launch into our investigation, and that's what we're looking for, is the public's help in looking at these photos, looking at these photos up here, and helping us identify the victim so we can move on with our case. We don't have any motive, we don't have any reason for why this happened or how this happened, and that's the purpose for being here today, is to get the public's assistance and hopefully identifying the victim so our investigators can head down that path.
Would you call that a random location?
You say you talked to other agencies in the country, as Pete asked. Have you talked to any other countries, Mexico probably? Could she be somebody from the caravan, the migrant caravan?
No, not at this point.
Will you be using familial DNA to try and establish parentage?
It's too early to say at this time.
So you
Lieutenant,
mentioned,
was there anything there at the scene which would indicate any clues to who might have dumped that bag? Was the bag dumped all the way down the hill? Were there shoe prints, footprints, anything else surrounding it other than the bag and the body itself?
We don't have any clue. No.
but you did mention that, we did want to comment, but there may have been other items in the bag, but you can't say at this time?
Correct. We're not going to comment on that at this point.
I'm sorry, I apologize if you said this in the beginning, but was the bag concealed in any way, or was it attempt to be, was it, covered, or was it?
It was adjacent. It was adjacent to the equestrian trail in light brush.
Do you think the bag was dumped over a hill, or do you think it was placed on the trail?
I cannot say for sure. I just know that it was at the bottom of an embankment that was adjacent to the 3400 block of Hacienda Boulevard.
Lieutenant, so can you talk a little bit about her clothes? Her blouse is pink, and I don't know whether that's the kind of blouse that they only sell at certain stores. I don't know whether that's a clue that you've been looking into at all. Can you address that?
Again, this is still very early. Investigators will look into every nook and cranny of this case to help identify the victim and the suspect. But again, that's something they can look at later on down the road.
She appears to be barefoot in this sketch. Was she not wearing any shoes when she was discovered?
Was she wearing shoes?
Was she wearing shoes?
Does not, no shoes.
And are there any other distinguishing marks on her body that would help identify her?
No, not at this point.
Thanks, Elsie.
Were the suspects driving the car? Is that totally determined, or could they have been on foot and then dumped the body?
Again, we have no idea of who the suspect is, how the body got there, so I cannot comment on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One last question. Why do you think it happened between late Sunday afternoon? I mean, how are you pinpointing late Sunday afternoon?
Well, we're looking at 48 hours, within 48 hours prior to the discovery of the victim.
Of when she died, you think? Is that what the
Of when she was
48 hours?
located.
Of when she was located. So you think it was within 48 hours, but you can't say why you think that.
No, I cannot.
She was dumped.
And no idea on
We don't
how
know
long
if
she's
like
been
you
dead
asked that
prior to
question.
being dumped, or
She might have
how
been
long?
dumped, but we don't know if she was
Cannot say.
dead in the bag.
Was there a lock on that bag where the zipper was?
No,
Was
no,
there-
no
There
comment.
wasn't any sign that she tried to claw her way out, is what I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, no.
No?
All right, thank everyone for coming.
Thank you very
Appreciate it.
much.